I'm black. Give me diamond watch, give me platinum plaque. I'm a goon or something, I make do with that. Ain't here to small talk, don't need the chat. Know that I was made in the lab. The scientist screaming, oh my god. Give him swagger, a Tone Beach bar. Let him hit the streets, let them die. What I mean to be great when you at halftime. When you're 20 years old, never had a touchdown. When you lose a control, all your brother's been gone. You're confused, you alone, never earned you a dime. I got the goal, I think I'm gonna win. Race in the morning now.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to our Wednesday edition of the Just Saying podcast, part of the Nerd Media Company as well. We want to thank everybody for tuning in and to continue rocking with us every Wednesday afternoon, well, Wednesday evening, of course, here as we live stream on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. And we're very excited, very honored, very privileged. Of course, I am Furman Jackson Jr. Lowe, my lovely teammate in her absence. Lowe, hope she'll be timing in soon as well. But we're very honored, man, to have a very special guest with us this evening. I think it's going to be very profound. I think it's gonna be very educational. I think it's gonna be uplifting, and I think it's gonna be very powerful. This woman has many gifts, many talents. She has her hands in a lot of multiple things, but also keep you occupied. You know, you get to know more of yourself, and you get to help others, educate others, and also give back. So, no further ado, and welcome Nicole Johnson to the platform. Nicole, thank you for coming on here, taking time out of your productive schedule to come on here, share some wisdom, share some knowledge, share your experience, share your blueprint, share your beliefs, your philosophy. I want to say here with the audience as you enlighten us on what you got going on. So go ahead, introduce yourself to the audience, and we're gonna have a good time here on today's episode.
Hey, Furman. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you and your audience. I am the Nicole Johnson. I am the founder of the Wealthy Women Lifestyle, where I teach women to define and achieve their goal of financial freedom so that they can live life on their own terms. And that kind of means a lot to different women based on the stage and age of where they are in life. And that for me, as a strategist, is the fun part because everybody's circumstances are different. And so I get to help them plan that strategy to reach those goals. And it's going to look different for the 35-year-old versus the 55-year-old or wherever they are in their life. But the fun part is seeing the results actually come to fruition when they're starting to reach goals that they had never reached before, or they reach that level where their level of peace has come in and really help them understand financial freedom looks different, but most importantly, it feels different.
Yeah, most definitely. And before we was talking about this before we came on the show this evening, and just really how as a people, we've been conditioned to think a certain way. If you ever look at it, we was taught to go to, get a job, go to school, whatever, be on that
Mhm.
job for 30 plus years, get a pension, get a retirement, you think you're living a good life. But through that meantime, we've been struggling through the midst of it, the ups and downs, barely make ends meet, robbing people PayPal. That goes up from a spiritual standpoint as well, from religion, how religion taught us that, you know, what they messed it up. It says the love of money, but they said no, money is the root of all evil, and people within the Christian circle was scared to prosper and thinking it was of the devil. And they told us when you get to heaven, you have all this. But in the meantime, we're struggling and going to the scripture. The Bible said, good man leave inheritance for his children. So if we don't have anything to leave them, then what's the benefit of why we're here for?
Right. And he told us we should not live in lack. Jesus did not want for anything on this earth when he walked this earth. And so he did not plan for us to live in lack. And again, we define wealth differently. And what I like to teach people is that you do get to define what wealth means to you. And for a lot of us, with that struggle mindset, that scarcity mindset, the first thing that wealth is going to mean is peace.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because we look at it now, how when people have these finances, they are at war with each other. They at each other's neck. They at each other's throat. They cutthroat each other. But what about the character? We lack the character, we lack the
Yeah.
integrity, and all those other things. But that stuff plays a huge role in our day to day activity, right?
Yes, and when you see it running so rampant, from the top at the head of the country, all the way down through our government, our leaders, in our households and the different businesses. It's rampant that the people who have been shady and underhanded, they're the ones who get ahead. And it doesn't always mean that. It's just that one of the things I shared with you is that it's so many people that'll say, this way, if you do things this way, you can be prosperous, you can be rich. They'll tell you what it does for you, but nobody's really sitting you down to tell you how to do it for yourself. And that's not what our community should be about. So if I found a way to make money, or hey, if I just found a different way to go shopping that'll help somebody else, to give them time back in their life, I shouldn't have a problem saying, hey Furman, I tried it this way and this was real helpful for me. It might be a help for you. That's what community is supposed to be about. And that it's not just about one or two people, a select few, making advancements. We've got to be able to lend a hand to somebody else. I'm not asking you to carry them, but give them a hand up along the way so that you're not at the top by yourself, because that's lonely too.
Yeah, it is. They say it is lonely at the top, so
It is.
it is, but it is. And no, we're gonna be talking about some things here on today's program, and I do have some questions lined up for you as well. And we talking about financial empowerment. That's the first step we want to get into this evening. My first question is, what does financial empowerment truly mean to you, and why is it so important right now?
Well, for me, it means to be able to not have to worry and suffer from stress and anxiety, right? That when I don't know where money is coming from, when I don't know how the bills are going to get paid, I'm stressing, and stress kills us
Mm,
internally. It's bad for our health, right? But then it goes beyond that, because it's not just about getting the bills paid. It's about being able to make decisions in my life soundly, and then not have to worry about, is that, if I buy this, is the car gonna clear? Do I have, if I had a car accident, let me say that. I rear-ended somebody. It was totally my fault, right? And I rear-ended them. Their truck didn't have but a scratch on it, and whereas mine said, I said, "Oh my goodness!" But because I'm financially sound, I'm not worried about the hospital bill. I'm not worried. I wasn't worried about how to replace the vehicle. I only had time to focus on me, because what I tell my community is that when life happens, because it's going to, our life happenings hit differently when our finances are in order. So that's what being empowered means, is that I don't have to worry about what's in my bank account when my life goes upside down. And what started that? Listen, setback after setback after setback after setback made me realize that there were some things that I continually did wrong. Okay. And two of the things that I did is, one, I just repeated it because I didn't learn the lesson the first time, was I filed bankruptcy twice. Once after college, and signed on every credit card and didn't understand what I was signing for, because nobody ever explained it to me. Finances were not talked about in my household. The second time was after my divorce, and I kept the kids and got rid of everything else. Okay. But the difference was is that when I did it the second time, I had a better understanding of what I made, the mistakes I made the first time, and in between the first and second time, what I should have done differently. And so now, once I changed my mindset about my relationship with my money, that became the foundation for me in my springboard to start to do things differently, teach my children how to do differently. And that's why it's important. Today's time, we got to start creating legacy for our kids, for those that we influence. And if we don't, what are we doing for them?
yeah, I agree 1000%. And Even when we was talking, Nicole, it made me think about in Proverbs when Solomon talked about the ant. And he said, have you considered the ant, you slugger? A slugger is a lazy person. But he
Mm-hmm.
wants you to focus on the ant. The ant has no overseer, no guide, no rule. An ant is doing what the Most High has created it to do. So an ant is always what planning ahead. The ant is always thinking long term. And we remember the story of the ant and the grasshopper. How the ant was working during the summer, the grasshopper played around,
Mm-hmm.
poked
Mm-hmm.
fun at the ant. So when it hit, the ant was already well prepared, had everything they
Right.
need, and the
That's right.
grasshopper on the outside looking in to get help. But
That's right.
if you look at it from a biblical standpoint, that lets us know that God wants to start thinking ahead and be
That's right.
prepared ahead. Even if it say it has no overseer, no guide, no rule. So the ant is doing what it was created to do. You don't have the ant. You don't have to tell the ant what to do. The ant is
That's
already
right.
doing what
That's
it's born
right.
to do.
That's right. And we have inherent instincts, right? And self-preservation is one of those. And but we don't, everybody doesn't have that look down the road. We are as a society, instant gratification. You know,
Hmm.
it went from heating food up in the oven or on the stove to put in the microwave. I gotta have it now. I gotta have it now. And so everything is instant, instant download, instant this, instant that. Whereas, you know, Sunday dinners are now a specialty. It's not common as it used to be. And so we have gotten away as a society from the things that are important. How do we build a community within our family and make sure the structure is good? Okay. Because if one person is in trouble, then we all rally together to help. But if we're not sustaining ourselves, we cannot assist everyone else or anyone else. So
Yeah, 'cause it really ties into what it was saying. Like Christ said when he told Peter, when thou art converted,
that's right.
then strengthen your brethren. So that
Yep.
means you have to be fully converted, fully changed, fully made over, a brand new person in order to strengthen someone else. If I'm not converted, it would be impossible to strengthen you because we're both in the same state. But I love how he puts everything already in order when thou art converted. It starts with you first.
That's
Then
right.
you can strengthen your brethren.
That's it. That's it. We have, there's an order. There's a structure, you know, and the old have to teach the young, right? And
Right.
that's why it's important. I have to know about my finances. I have to understand money and how to build wealth to be able to teach those that are coming behind me. And it's not just my children. It seems to be, you know, others that I oh, okay, others that I impact. I think my signal went around the world, but others that I impact, people who are watching, nieces and nephews, cousins, those who are chiming in. You'd be surprised as one of the ladies in my community, she came to Dallas for a retreat here in January. And when she left, she drove home and she drove through Jackson. She saw her brother and she was telling her brother where she had. He said, "Oh, I follow her too." She's like, "Oh, really?" I have no idea who her brother is, but I have no idea who is all watching. And so we have to be able to have a take a stand in what we're doing, what we're teaching, and what we're sharing, because legacy is coming behind us and they are watching what we do. And if the children are the future of tomorrow and we don't prepare them for today, then we have messed up. We are wrong. I follow this lady. She is a founding member of Arrested Development. So she's one of my accountability partners and she's into the media and all of the things. And she uses her platform to tell our stories. And what I would say on there
Hmm.
is that if 40, 50, 60 years from now, the stories are still being told wrong, it's our fault because we have the platform and the mechanisms that our ancestors didn't. And now that we have them, we have to use them to our advantage to tell and share and teach and educate. And what are we leaving behind? I'm not trying to leave debt and bills. I want my children and my grandson to be able to have a deity, a fortune, whatever it is, because I can't take it with me. I want them to have something, but not just have it financially, to have the understanding and the wisdom to know how to manage it and make it multiply.
Most definitely, because we know that the Most High is in the multiplying business. And in Deuteronomy 8:18, it states that He has given us the power and ability to get wealth. In Deuteronomy 8:18, y'all can look that up. Deuteronomy 8:18, they made established couldn't He made with our forefathers. So He said, "I give you the power and ability. I give you the mindset, the skills, the tools, to develop it." See, a lot of times we won't we think it's so car come out of the sky. It don't work that way. If it did, we want to do anything. But he put when he created the garden, Adam and Eve, he gave them a diligence to what to cultivate it, right? To take
Right?
care of it, to multiply, replenish, and stuff like that. That's work. That's putting in action, not just bearing children, but making things, creating things. And we are creative beings, Nicole, and you know that. We
I
are creative
do.
beings. And the scripture lets us know death and life is in the power of the tongue. They should eat the fruit
Yes.
thereof.
Yes.
So, and then everything deal with mindset, right? He said, so as a man thinketh, so is he.
And so is
So
he.
if you think in lack, you are lack. If you think in abundance, you are abundance.
That's
If you
it.
think in slothfulness, you are slothful. As a man thinketh, so is he. How is it important for us to think a certain way by ourselves? Because we used to say, stick and stone shall break my bone, but word was never heard. Words do hurt. Words shape
Words,
things.
they do. They absolutely do. And I tell people that it is not what you are called, it's what you answer to. And in order to answer to something more positive in your life, you've got to talk to yourself. So if you join my Zoom room, there's a video while you're in the waiting room. There's a video that plays and it tells the ladies, I'm welcoming you here. I'm glad to have you. When's the last time somebody told you you were a masterpiece? We understand the definition of a masterpiece. It has flaws, it has cracks and crevices, but it doesn't take away from the value. And so, what you think about yourself is important. So, tell yourself what you are. And their responsibility is that anytime they see a mirror, anytime they take their phone out to take a selfie, or just because it's 2 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, I am a masterpiece. The more you talk to yourself and say those things to yourself, it won't matter what anybody else says because you know who and what you are. And if we don't start training our minds to think that way, we can easily succumb to the negativity that people pour out. And I tell you, Furman, I've been called some of everything. And I'm like, who you talking to? Me? Ooh, child, please. I'm so confident in who I am and what I am. You have to have a whole lot of power. And I don't give anybody that much power over me that their words can change how I see myself. I let you go on and think about me what you want, but I know what I am. And honey, it's on you to figure the rest of it out because that's your opinion, and everybody has one. But I have you. We got to talk. You've got to talk because this right here is powerful. So I use my power for good.
And you have to. You have to use it for good. Because everything start with self first. And I had big shout out to I had Eduardo, Chef Eduardo. I had him on here last Wednesday morning,
Mhm.
and he said something very profound. He said, when in the scripture, he said, "Study to show thyself approved." And even though we read it so many times, you see it start with self first. Study to show thyself approved. So everything start with you first. And see, we was never programmed like that. We were conditioned to serve everything else, but not serve ourselves.
Right.
Cause we always put ourselves on the back burner, and that's that teaching that we taught. But you have to put yourself first. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a negative person. It goes to the point on how you should value yourself on a regular basis, without people cheering you on. You should cheer yourself on. You should love yourself, respect yourself, become your number one fan. You are number one draft pick, right? So we should always value ourselves. And when he said that, I not read it so many times, but it said study to show thyself approved. And even scripture Paul said, yet no man hate his own flesh, but nourish it and cherish it, right? So if you love yourself, you're gonna take the proper necessity to take care of yourself. You're gonna do everything right for yourself. And now that part of that is growing, not just with food, but spiritually wise, wisdom wise, because you always gonna put yourself, you always gonna cherish yourself. I hear people say I want to become a better version of myself. Well, let's start with self-love. So you have to start with self first. Look at yourself as an investment. And that's something that I learned along this journey. You always have to look at yourself as an investment, which is always a good thing. 'Cause we never did that. We put
Right,
everything else, but then
right.
we'd get lost in the sauce.
Yep, yep. Just when you get on the airplane and they tell you when that mask drops down, what do? You put your own mask on first before you try to help the next person. Because you try putting their mask on first, ain't no guarantee they're gonna help you put your mask on.
That's good.
You understand that there's
Yeah.
no guarantee. They might help the person next to them. Or they might be so caught up they just sit back and don't realize that you need help. So if you can't help, it's just like the lesson is you have to, before you can give, you give from your overflow. But that means your cup got to be full first to overflow. If there's no overflow, you can't give. You
Mm.
can't give. You cannot sustain other people if you have not sustained yourself. And I can tell you, Furman, I talked to a mother today. She's a coworker of mine, and she was supposed to call me a week ago. She called me today on her way into work. She's got an adult son, 31 years old, who's still blaming her for things that happened way back when, and telling her that the decisions he is making is a result of how she treated him, raised him, and things of that nature. And I told her, ma'am, let it go. You cannot allow your son, who's 31 years old, he's not some 15, 16-year old throwing a temper tantrum. He's not a 6-year old. He's not a 2. He is 31 years old. And he's supposed to sit in your driveway and smoke weed all day. He don't have no job, all that. And you're allowing him to keep you depressed over his decisions. Ma'am, let it go. Because until your son has been you with the task that you had of making sure he had food, clothes, a roof over his head, and all of the things, until he's done that with the tools that you had and didn't have, he cannot judge you for the decisions that you made because you did the best you can with what you had. So don't let him make you feel bad because of the way he was raised. He wasn't abused, he wasn't neglected. You didn't do any of those things. But at 31 years old, we can't keep blaming our parents for the way they raised us. At some point where I sit in my own life, the fact of what happened to me as a child is no longer a crutch.
Mhm.
I have to decide to get the help. Now, I'm not saying that parents, things happen to you. You have a responsibility to heal yourself. Can nobody make you go seek help? But once you do that, then you can see things differently. This is why we have mothers and fathers, trust me, I know dads do it too, overextending themselves financially to help a
Yep.
loved one. But Nicole,
Right.
that's my son, it's my daughter, it's my mother, it's my father. I said, stop it. Because you are so caught up on the fact that that's the relationship that exists between you two. But guess what? They are not. Just like you're saying, that's my son, my daughter, they're not saying that's my mother, that's my father, and I can't hurt them. What they're allowing you to do is overextend yourself to support them, and they're not taking care of themselves. That's a no.
Yeah, you did. I'm glad you had brought that up because I look at it as handicapped in them. You
Correct.
know, Apostle Paul did say I'm going biblical. We're going right back to the word, right?
That's
Even
it.
Apostle Paul said, "When I was a child, I thought a child, reasoned a child, but when I became a man."
That's right.
I'm going to say that again. When I became a man, I put
A
away
man.
childish things. So
Yep.
when you come of age, you don't you put those things aside. Hey, I'm a
That's
man.
it.
I have to be responsible for my own actions. I have to be accountable for my own actions. I'm not a child, so I can't do what child do. I can't do what a child do anymore when you become of age. So when you got to put those things aside, and we see that in our society a lot, Nicole, where we blame people. I work within law enforcement. I work within the system. I see a lot of people who are incarcerated. They blame everybody. They'll blame the guard. They'll blame the officer. They'll blame this and that. But you very rare will see someone not just in corporate, but outside in the world. You see, it's very rare you see someone who will take accountability for their own answer. You know what? Excuse me. By the choice that I made, I put myself here. But it's
That's right.
always everybody else's fault until you look at yourself in the mirror. Because everything starts with self first.
That's
And
it.
we could be our own worst enemy. We to the point we'll blame the devil for everything. But realize,
Everything. Ooh,
but
don't start me
realize
with the
it'll be
Christian talk like
yeah,
that.
they do because I don't look to him for everything. I don't because that's the problem. We blame everything else, but we know that came from that originated when sin came in. Of course, you already know
Absolutely.
what Adam did. Adam said it was that woman you gave me, so we know it
That's
originated
right.
from there. Then Eve said it was the serpent, so we know what it originated from, and we carry on that trait to this day
Yes,
until
we do.
someone say, it's me, stand in need of prayer. You know what I'm saying? Even Paul said, "Oh, wretched man that I am." And I love
That's
when
right.
Paul would look at himself because Paul didn't look at nobody. He didn't say, "Oh, wretched man, my mom was, dad was, my neighbor." He said, "Oh, wretched man that I am,"
That's
because
right.
he realized where he was at that time in his life. And I remember it was when an apostle years ago, he said to me one day, he said, once you get real with yourself, that's when God will come sit with you. Why? Because you started with yourself, or you acknowledge where you was,
That's
and
it.
once you acknowledge where you were, okay, now God come sit with you. He can sit with you now, and so that's what I take to heart, Nicole, because everything start with Furman first. I can't
That's
worry about
it.
what this person do, that person. Everything start with Furman first. Everybody wants. I want to become a better version of myself, but you do it for you. We hear a lot of time when people on social media, they want you to do, they want you to do things for other people, but it starts with
Hmm.
you first. You have to be married to
Right.
yourself first.
Got
If
to.
I can't be married to myself first, Nicole, it'll be impossible for me to be married to someone else. Because if
That's
I can't
it.
stand myself, it's impossible for me to love someone else. That makes sense.
It absolutely does. If I don't like me, how can I like somebody else? And how can I expect somebody else to like me when I don't even like me? And
Right.
I tell somebody, I love me some me. All day, every day, and twice on Sundays. I love me some me. I have to enjoy my own company. Can I take
Right.
myself out to lunch or dinner? Absolutely. And can I enjoy myself? I absolutely can. I have to be able to see what love feels like by loving myself before I can share it with somebody else. And it's the same thing with as my finances. I have to understand my own finances and what I'm doing to prosper and be wealthy before I can share that with someone else. And how did I learn?
Hmm.
Trial and error, a lot of errors, but not errors because I wasn't taught. I recognize that that's what it was. But that was years ago. That is not in my story today. It's part of the foundation of how I got to be where I am. But what I do today is all on these shoulders right here. And so
Right.
when you talk about self accountability, you talk about, I talk about money management, but I talk about having a relationship with your money.
Hmm.
The same relationship that we have with a partner, we are in partnership with our money, right? We got to pay attention to it. We got to tell it what to do sometimes. We got to make sure it goes in the right places. We got to treat it well so that we get a return on our investment, and that's wherever we put our money. So
Yeah,
there is a relationship with our money, and we have to look at it that way.
yeah, most definitely. 'Cause that really ties into it. And is it not just when many people feel overwhelmed by money management? What are the first steps someone should take to gain control of their finances?
They have to first ask for help. If they understand that I cannot do this by myself, ask for help. And one of the hardest things to do in today's community is to be able to find the right person to ask for help from. And that's one of the main reasons I do what I do. Nobody was teaching me. I never heard financial conversations when I was growing up. And so I let a lot of the things that I learned were trial and error, more error than trial. Okay.
Right.
So the community exists so that you can have a safe space to say, hey, I'm mucking things up left and right. How do I get help? Once you tell me you need help, and then the first thing I'm going to tell you is pat yourself on the back for asking for help and forgive yourself for the things you've already done, because we start today anew. Okay. And so action steps that they can first take. I'll tell anybody, you want to know what your money is doing? Look at your bank statement. Print out your bank statement. Get you some highlighters. Okay. Furman, this is where they get real mad at me. And I don't care, because I will tell you, this is not about condemnation. This is not about judgment. This is about fixing the mistakes that I've made. Print out your bank statement. Get you about 3 or 4 highlighters. Some of us gonna need a few more colors than that, and that's okay.
Oh,
All
yeah, it's
right.
okay.
Is start categorizing the things that you have spent your money on over the last 30 to 60 days. Now, let me say this again. This is not about judgment. Don't try to say, oh, I should do better at this. No, this was for the bill. This was for the bill. This was, oh, that was some fast food. Okay, fast food. Okay, this some more fast food. This was, I got mad and went to that store and bought that whatever I bought, knowing I shouldn't have. Put it in another color. And then at the end of that bank statement, total up all those categories. Okay. And some of them going to be a little bit higher than others. And it's okay, because in order to fix the problem, we have to look at the symptoms.
Yeah.
In order for the doctor to prescribe you some medicine, they got to know, Nicole, what's bothering you? Well, I spent $400 on fast food this month. I spent $600 on that purse that I didn't need. I spent $200 on the TV games. I spent X, X, and X. Okay, so now the symptoms are, this is what you've been doing. Now the prescription is, here's how we will stop doing it for next month. 21-Day Financial Fast. It is a book by Michelle Singletary. I recommend this. Good food. Okay, I like that. This is good food. I recommend anybody to buy the hard copy of it. You can hear it on Audible, but I am one who likes to highlight.
Me too.
Notes. Okay. So when you read that book, this is not about not spending. She's got some very biblical principles in that book. Okay. I have it right here. It's Michelle Singletary's 21-Day Financial Fast. See, this is my second copy. I lost the first one, so I had to start another one. And I found the first copy. Now I just got 2 copies. Okay. But I'm going to highlight it when something hits me. I highlight it. I write the date and the time. And there's a reason for it. I'm going to tell you in a moment. So when I read this book again, 3 or 4 months later, and I look at what I wrote, and then if it means something different to me, I highlight it again, put another date and time. And the difference is when I was this way, the lesson meant something to me like this. But when I matured, when I grew, when I changed, when I shifted, it meant something this way. And it's not the book that's different, because this book about 5, 6, 12, 20 years old. I changed. And so my mindset is different, and I look at things differently. Read this book. We do it at least 3 or 4 times a year. And folks have to go and buy another one because they didn't color it in too much. Okay. But when you read it, she's got some very simple and simplistic lessons. Like, don't be a financial crutch for somebody else. Watch what you're spending. Put the plastic away and only spend the cash on hand. That's hard for some people, but it's
Yeah.
doable and it's necessary to reach the goal. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is ask for help. Once you ask for help, forgive yourself for the things you've already done and go into what you're about to do with a new version of your mindset. My mindset is saying, I can't change it, but I need to recognize what I've been doing so I know what to do differently going forward. Highlight that bank statement, and now you can see where your money is going. Now you have a solid foundation to start making changes.
Well, because it says, we were born in sin, shaped in iniquity, right?
That's
So
it.
we picked up some habits along the way. So we developed these bad habits, Nicole, along the way, and it affected us into our adulthood. So now we have to go down to the root of the problem. You know, you got to, like the snake, for you to kill the snake, you got to go to the snake head in order for the snake to die. See, we cut on the wrong end, and that snake is still alive and present to this day. But just really going back to where we develop these habits from, and we still allow these habits to linger on. And then when we had these conversations, they're very, very uncomfortable because we had this mask on for so long, and now it's, you see, we had these type of conversations, people get easily offended
Right.
because these are things we
Look,
never
they
talk
wear their
about.
feelings on their shoulder. And I tell them, I say, she says, I'm exactly weathering the storm now because of poor choices. And sometimes that's the first step, is recognizing that I made some poor decisions. Now let's fix it. But something you said is very important, and I tell my clients, I tell my community that a lot of what we do is therapeutic, but I'm not your therapist. Okay. I do encourage them to seek therapy if need be, but we do a lot of things to review where you got your habits from, because understanding how you got here is absolutely critical. And sometimes people are I'm in Dallas. I have a niece in Fort Worth, though. I have a niece in Fort Worth. A lot of the things that we do are habitually passed along to us. So I had the daughter, and a granddaughter. So 3 generations. Okay. At this time, the baby was 6. The mom was mid-20s, and the grandmother was, however old in season she was. Okay. But every time the grandmother got upset, she would go shopping.
Mm.
She's taking her daughter with her when she goes shopping. And you know how we get to talking, and they done made me mad. And I'm buying this blouse, I'm buying this coat, I'm buying this purse, I'm getting this makeup. And so the daughter, as she's growing up, every time she get mad, she goes shopping, right?
Mm.
Now
Right.
she has her own daughter, and every time she get mad, she's at the mall and she's taking her baby with her. Okay, I am not their therapist, but when they came to me, they're living in California, one of the most expensive states in the union, and they're trying to figure out between the two of them, why are they financially struggling? Well, well, you really want to know? And so one day I got a 911 call from the daughter. She said, Nicole, we need an intervention. We get on the phone, and I'm like, what happened? She said, I had a bad day. Mama had a bad day. I said, so baby had a bad day. Is that what you're trying to tell me? She said, yes, we went to the mall. We both spent $600 a piece.
Oh, wow.
okay. Oh, that was a real bad day, expensive day. She said, but I'm getting ready to go to the mall and take my stuff back. And I'm going to talk to the baby on the way. I'm like, okay, well, the mama sitting there growling and foaming at the mouth, telling something, I'm not taking my stuff back in. I don't care what you say, Nicole. I said, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you to take it back. If you feel like that's what you needed to do, then go ahead. I said, but can I ask you a question? Just one. Go ahead. I said, where the money gonna come from to pay the bills? Because I know you move bill money to go shopping. Come on, I drive. Yeah. So I was just that reality check for her because I need you to come up out of your emotions, come up out your feelings. You're mad, go get a scoop of ice cream. Okay, go walk around the park, do something for free. Learn how to redirect that energy because, like you said, we are energy. And when that anger fills you up, you need a better outlet than damaging your finances. And so that was a good experience for them because I wasn't going to tell her, but what I wanted her to understand, mom, you taught the daughter, you're teaching yours. And now we are looking at potentially 3 generations of bad habits where nobody sat down at the table and said, well, Furman, when you get mad, you go shopping. No, Furman, watch what you did. Nicole, watch what you did. And that was how you taught her. And this is how bad habits are passed down from one generation to the next. So we got to be mindful of what we're doing because whether we realize it or not, we're teaching those that are coming behind us.
And here we are. And because it lingers on until someone makes up in their mind to break the cycle.
That's
Big
it.
shout out to Mrs. Jones in Fort Worth. She's in the comment section. Go to the next comment. You go ahead and read it, Nicole.
She said, get out her window. That's it. Used to. Now I've ditched the crutch and using the Domino's catch-up method. Good. Pay my smaller bills off. And now in the middle of the mortgage is gonna. Hey, that is excellent. And I applaud you for that because it is so important. Now I wasn't in the window, but my third eye was out there. But listen, I understand that is how we think and how we move, and snowballing debt. When you start paying off those smaller bills, let me tell you, it's not just about paying off the bill. It is about the satisfaction of reaching a goal. Okay. When I paid that truck off, I gave myself 6 months to pay off a $6,000 balance on that truck. When I made that last payment, it was the best feeling in the world because that debt was hanging over me and it wasn't uncomfortable. I just didn't want it no more. I don't like a vehicle with a note on it. I want to be through with it. And that it still had a year and a half left on the contract. I said, baby, if it take me a year and a half to pay this $6,000, it's something wrong with me. I need to rethink my finances. And so that 6 month pressure, but at the end, I felt so much better. And now I can take that money that was going to the truck note and snowball it somewhere else. Guess what? That now became my vacation money because I didn't have to snowball it into another debt. I could put this over here. You might put it in your savings. You might increase your portfolio of buying stocks and things of that nature. Now you got options. And that is what I like. That is what wealth building is about. It's an option to take your money and put it someplace where it can grow. I like to lay down and know that my money is still working somewhere. I might not know where off the top of my head, but that portfolio in that savings account or that portfolio in that investment style over there is doing some things while I'm sleeping.
Yeah, because that's what it is. Money is a tool. And we have to look at it as a tool because the wealthy always believe in their money working for them. And I
Absolutely.
know people within us, we work for our money, but they allow their money to work for them. And they always making it work for them. And that's how we got to get into that mindset. Because we in that mindset, if we get some money, we got to spend, spend, spend. We want to keep it with the Joneses, want to buy all this latest stuff to impress people who don't care about us at all. But at the end of the day, we got ourselves in all this massive debt.
And I'm gonna tell you, I ain't met a Joneses that I want to know that I want to keep up with. And if people listen, when George Jefferson moved on up to that house in the sky, he had already had 6 stores open. Think about it. Before he and Weezy moved on up there, he was already profitable. So I'm gonna mimic the Jeffersons before I run after the Joneses. Okay, if I gotta pick something. But when I have extra money at this day and stage of my life, it is not to turn around and spend. That's what I did when I was a kid. Oh, I got this extra $20. I got this extra $100. I got this birthday money. I got this Christmas money. I got this just because money. What can I buy? Oh no, this day. Oh, if I'm buying something, it's called paying for that trip that I'm going on and making sure that it's paid for before I go, because I don't want it to be a bill when I come back. Okay. What stock am I buying? That right there, that's some fun stuff right there. How can I increase my portfolio value before I take, this extra $300, this extra $600? What am I going to do with it? And how do I take 3 and make it 12? How do I take 12 and make it, keep multiplying it? So those are the things that, as you say, when I put down the childish things, I'm no longer trying to spend, because guess what? At the end of the day, Furman, I can't take none of it with me, but I can make sure that I leave the things in place so that my grandson is provided for.
Right, because at the end of the day, you want to have a peace of mind. You don't want to be up all night stressing all night how this gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. And I know a lot of times that's what Jesus dealt with. He dealt with anxiety. He talked about that. He told him, don't take no thought what you eat, what you drink, what you gonna wear. So we know it was some anxieties taking place, and he gave them the answer. All you have to do is seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these what things gonna be added unto you. Don't take no thought for tomorrow. For tomorrow, take care. So with me, we deal a lot of anxiety. We so worried about tomorrow. We're not even focused on the day. We worry about, how I'm gonna pay this tomorrow, how I'm gonna get that tomorrow, and how I'm gonna get this gas in my car tomorrow. Because we dealt with that whole anxiety thing, and he dealt with that, and he even talked about that in the parable of the sower. The seed, the cares of this world, the deceitfulness of riches. If you focus on the things that's hindering you, what's gonna do? You're gonna panic and open up anxiety. So now you open up all this energy of bringing all that stuff, dealing with anxiety and negativity, and for you actually reaping what you already put out there.
That's it. And I'll tell you, when I went through my divorce, I told my pastor, because I went through counseling through him, and I told him, I said, I'm a planner, right? I'm looking at the next 6 months. I'm looking at the next 12 months. And I don't understand why he doesn't look at it like that. He just want to live for the moment. And his planning is poor. It's horrible. He said, Nicole, God gives us one moment at a time. That's it. That's all you get. He says nothing wrong with being prepared, because Noah built the ark when was not a drop of rain out there, right? It was on solid ground, but he prepared for what was coming.
That's right.
So I would tell anyone that today I am the most optimistic pessimist you ever want to know. I am always going to hope for the best, but I prepare for the worst, right? I don't rush through the day. I don't stress about what's going to happen to tomorrow, but I'm prepared when it comes.
Right.
Okay, so that's how I look at it. So when I'm preparing for the worst and hoping for the best, no matter where I fall in between, I'm good. And that's what helps me sleep at night. That's what helps me wake up in the morning. I tell my community, set your tone for the day. Before you get out the bed, have a prayer, talk to the Lord. Look, Lord, listen, I ain't sinned. I ain't had no bad thoughts, but I'm about to get out this bed and I'm gonna need your help every step of the way. Okay. Set the tone for your day. If you know you work in an atmosphere of toxicity, get your mind right before you get there. That way, when you know it's coming, you already swatted it away, right? If you, I carry stuff that, like, this is one of our tumblers, but I have all kinds of cups with self motivation. Let me tell myself I'm fearless. Let me tell myself I'm great and wonderful. Let me give you a warning with this shirt that say today ain't a good day for you to bother me. Okay, I'm speaking to you. I'm giving you fair warning. Back off. Okay, but my tone is set so that no matter what, Nicole, we need you to take on this project, this project, this project, this project. Okay. But when I log out at 2:30, whatever ain't done to be here tomorrow. I don't stress myself. Whatever you get done, whatever I get done in them 8 hours, whatever you get out of me in them 8 hours, that's all you get till tomorrow. I don't stress. I don't worry about it. I take good naps. I'm gonna take Birdman, I take a nap. I missed my nap today to be here with you. Okay, that's how excited I was about being. I ain't had my nap, but as soon as this camera go off,
Getting your nap in.
I'm getting my nap in. But it is so important. And let me tell you, thank you, sweetheart. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this to the women that are listening on your platform. And I'm speaking from heart and from my heart about this. We are the hardest on each other, especially us Black women. We are the hardest on each other. But when I tell you, I love to walk down the street, I love to walk through the mall or wherever I am and see a beautiful Black woman and be like, girl, that dress is slamming. It does not hurt me to pay her a compliment. It does not hurt me to tell her she is beautiful. Oh, I love that on you. That looks really good. It does not hurt me at all, because when I can lift her up, guess what? We rise together. So, setting your tone, you be surprised at how you can change the tone for somebody else.
Most definitely, because you all want to set the atmosphere. And that's going to lead into our next segment, the wealthy women lifestyle. That's something that you created. That's your baby, of course, and it comes to fruition. So my ask you is, what inspired you to create the wealthy women lifestyle brand?
So the brand comes from years of helping and supporting women. I tell them, when I was sitting in the shoes of someone who needed help, I didn't have it. Not to the level that would propel me to where I am. Okay. And so my friend said one time, she was talking to somebody else about me. I'm standing right there. She's like, Nicole is this, Nicole. She said, honey, the bottom line is everybody need a Nicole Johnson in their life. And I laughed so hard when she said it. But later on, it made me think about my journey. The times when I was alone, when I was fighting to just keep my mind right, crying, begging the Lord for a breather to make sure that me and my kids had, that I had, and I didn't have a Nicole Johnson. And so over the years, I told you I filed bankruptcy twice. Okay. And when I decided to become a homeowner, I went to the seminars, and the last one I went to, they told me that you got to have good credit. Wrong. You need a good savings account. Wrong. And you need a budget. What? 30 plus years old, had never done a budget before in my life. Money come in, money go out. Money come in, money go out. That was my budget. Okay. The revolving door of my bank account. And so now I'm going to stay, because usually I just get up and leave. I'm like, it's too depressing. But this time I decided to stay and meet with the mortgage lender, because I know if you can tell me the things that I need, you're going to have to tell me, how do I get them? How do I get them? And guess what? He didn't. What he did was he took my 30 plus page credit report, flipped through the pages, and then said, you'll never be a homeowner.
Mm.
If I had the wrong mindset, I'd have said, okay, and continued to be a renter. But that was not what I wanted for myself. I was calling myself a homeowner even before I went to those seminars. It was just a matter of how and when. And so the only thing I looked at him and said was, bet.
Hmm.
I went home. I got a copy of my own credit report. I made a date with me, a sandwich, a Coke, a smile, pencil, paper, and I sat there and hammered out a budget like nobody's business. My kids thought I was crazy. Mama, we gotta go out to eat. We going out in the kitchen.
That's it.
We at Nikki's house. We not
That's right.
going to McDonald's house. Nick Donald's. That's where we going.
McDonald's.
McDonald's. We don't go to
McDonald's.
IHOP no more. They ain't the International House of Pancakes. We going to ICOP, the
That's
International
it.
Crib of Pancakes. Take your cell phone in there, pull that red box. There's an Aunt Jemima on it, and pour it in the bowl. Get you some milk, fry it up in that skillet, and baby, there's some syrup in there, and that's what we doing.
Awesome
That's what
stuff.
we doing. We going to
Hey,
IHOP.
it's all about, you know what, Nicole, it's all about being disciplined, right? It's all about being disciplined, getting this flesh under subjection. That's what we have to do. Big
Yeah.
shout out to Mrs. Jones that comes that July 18th, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Everett, Texas. Thanks from Love the 7. Thank you, Queen, for your presence. Thank you, Mrs. Jones, for your support here on the
Thank
platform, both
you.
platforms, as you always support and stuff like that. We appreciate you. So, she has an event coming up July 18th, Everett, Texas. Big shout out to Everett, Texas, and all the work that Mrs. Jones is doing in the Fort Worth area. So that leads up to the next one. How does your platform help women shift from just surviving financially to actually thriving?
So the platform is designed to focus on your mindset. That's the first thing. And I help women realize that if you don't take care of you, who will? And so I do that through coaching, through one of our biggest events is in January. I do a vision and empowerment retreat in Dallas. As a matter of fact, this was our third one
Okay,
here in
congratulations on
Dallas.
that.
Thank
Congratulations on that.
you. And I'm big on vision boards. Vision boards in some people's mind is it's a big board with the pictures on it, the house, the car, the debt wrote off, or whatever. And that's fine. My vision board is more 8.5 by 11. And it is designed to, yes, if you want the pictures and the stickers and all of that, but that's not the important part to me. The important part to me is the strategy to reach the goal, because I can put pictures up all day long. If I don't
True.
have a strategy in place to reach the goal, they're just pictures. And so I help women understand how to set appropriate goals, but then create the strategy. So I have a client right now. Her goal is to save $10,000 by the end of the year. She's a teacher. Amazing feat for her. So we sat down and we planned out, this is what you need to set aside each pay period. So does the income alone help her reach that goal? It does not. So we created ways to bring in additional streams of income. So every dollar that she makes in the income activation program is dedicated to a certain thing. So if she makes $200 this month, that particular money is going to go into either paying off debt or it's going to the savings. If she makes $600 next month, it's going to be this. So now she knows what her target is for each month to help on top of her salary in order to reach that goal. And without strategy, we're just having words. And so that is what our platform is designed to do, to help women get to the wealthy women lifestyle, because you can't save there to that point. You can't income to that point alone. You got to have some separate strategy to reach the goal. And we have different goals. It might be increasing in our faith. How do we do that? It might be our relationships. It might be in our health and wellness. It might be for our business. So each goal deserves its own board and its own individual strategy. But the icing on the cake in my community is accountability. I am the best and the worst accountability partner. And so, Fermi, you might be thinking, how can you be both? Because as the best, I'm going to help you realize what your goal is. And when you tell me what that goal is, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm the worst partner because when you forget what that goal is. I'm gonna be that person that's gonna hold you accountable and remind you of what that goal is and let you know you off track. And come on, here's my hand, take my hand, and let's get back on track. And that philosophy has helped me help my client pay off $75,000 worth of debt in 15 months. I launched three new business owners last year. I just helped one start hers within the last 21 days. We have collectively, in the course of 2025, they paid off, and this is about 18 women, paid off over $100,000 worth of debt and collectively saved over $150,000.
Oh
So
wow.
we do.
Man, that's all. You know what? I wouldn't say that's the worst because accountability is good. That's one of my thing I believe in motivate, inspire, and hold each other accountable. So I would never say that's the worst thing because that shows love, right? Love is
Mhm.
correction. You know,
It
that you
is.
really have someone in your life that's gonna love you. That mean they correct you. That mean they love you. They don't say anything to you. They don't care about you, right? So
Mhm.
I would look because
I'm
that I
relentless
was.
though. I am determined. They get to do look, they get the bobblehead and all of that kind of stuff, trying to duck and dodge. And so
But
they
that's
can
that flesh though. That
it
flesh
is,
cries
it
out.
is,
It's
it
hard.
does,
It's hard to keep kids to prick. You know what I'm
it
saying?
does.
So
But I call it odd hours of the morning. And then they came, you just press like on my social media thing, ring, your phone start ringing. I know you're awake because you just press like on it. Ring. Yes, Nicole. One lady, she was she wasn't blocking me, but she was dodging me. I called her daughter. I said, call your mama on three-way. And she said, hello. I said, good morning. She said, get Nicole for real. Yes, ma'am. I'm coming through all avenues and channels because you have a goal and you are not getting any younger. Your goal was to do X, Y, and Z because retirement is knocking on your door and you slacking off. So what we gonna do? And we sat right there on that three-way conversation. Her daughter just could not. She said, I just cannot believe what I'm hearing. Mama always said you was like this. I said, I am. And now that she has gotten her call for the day, I love you both. Have a good day. And she got back on track. And you are right. It is out of love. But they're like the one thing they will tell you, she is really that girl does not give up. She will not let you lose. And so that's why I have the play on it. Yeah, I'm the best and the worst. Don't tell me your goals if you are not ready to go to work.
yeah, that's it. You know, it's all about going to work. And I'm as you were talking to me thinking about the Last Stand documentary with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, their last championship run. And before Phil Jackson came in, no, Michael Jordan was already in the league. He was playing for the Bulls at the time. Um, Jordan didn't make the championship until later on in his career, but he would make the playoffs, getting knocked out the first round, getting knocked out the first round, getting knocked out the first round. So at that time, the head coach at that time was Doug Collins. The whole thing was designed around Jordan. Jordan was getting all the scoring titles. He was going all these points, but he was never reaching his goal into making the championship until Phil Jackson came along and implemented the triangle system. He was telling Joy, yeah, I see at the time the coach had a system designed through you, but I'm designing a
Right.
system that's going to put you around your teammates. And this is going to teach you how to trust your teammates. But Jordan was all about winning, so he was willing to listen to Phil Jackson. And when he listened to Phil and adapted into the system, that's when
Right.
Jordan started making it, reaching his goal, reaching the finals, went to the finals 6 times, won it 6 times, undefeated 6 times. But that just show you how making that adjustment comes into play.
Gotta
And
know how to pivot.
right, and it
Know
just
how to
shows
pivot.
you adapting to okay, you really want to win, I'm gonna help you win. I put this plan together and I you just have to trust it. And he
Yeah.
did. That just
Yeah.
showed me how we have to adapt in
Yes.
order to take it to the next level. Instead of we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we getting the same result. Okay, now you
Same
need to
results.
so
Hmm.
be open minded. So that made me think about that when she was talking about this. I had to throw
And
that
I
in
think
there.
it also goes to being able to trust the person who is helping you.
Right.
Right. I don't know what the relationship was with Michael Jordan and the previous coach, but Phil Jackson walked in and earned his trust. That is very important in my community because women are wearing so many different hats. They have so many different responsibilities. And I'm not taking anything from men and fathers and things of that nature. I'm speaking from what I know. I've seen it for men. I'm talking about my experience. And we're juggling so many different things. The last thing they want to do is sit down and look at their bank statements. The last thing they want to do is fix the system, even though they know it's broken, but it works until it doesn't. And so having a safe space to say, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to fix this, is important. And I let them know there's no judgment here. I have someone in my circle who filed bankruptcy on $500,000 worth of debt. It is nothing that you all can tell me that'll make me say, oh my gosh, I can't help you. Nothing. And so I keep it lighthearted, I keep it humorous, and we get it done. But they understand that Nicole will go fight tooth and nail for us and with us. But sometimes they have to also understand I will fight them about their own goals. And so that's what makes the difference in my community, is that I can tell you, for the most part, everybody who's here, I can tell you about them and their family, and we really have that personal relationship. And so when we come together once a year for the retreat, they have formed lifelong friendships. They've been on Zoom for years. When I did it the first year, everybody could make it. It was a bad snowstorm here in Dallas. But the second year, we had a couple of people. This year, it was a totally different vibe. And everybody who had been in these group sessions together came into the room. And there's just no word or words to describe the energy that was there. It was a lot of crying, but they were happy tears. And they really felt that they have a sisterhood. And it doesn't matter what they're going through. They rally around each other. When somebody has done something and they got to confess, they come together and they're like, Nicole, before you say something, let us pray. Well, go ahead, honey, because she's going to need a lot of prayer when I get done with her. So it is a full and true community. And that even when I'm not fully present, they still lean on each other and support one another. And I could not have asked for a better environment, because it's the environment that I needed when I was in their shoes. So I'm doing my part to make sure that people who were me have the me that I am now.
And that's it. I know we're about to wrap it up. I got two more questions for you.
Okay.
And then we're gonna wrap it up. I know you're gonna take your nap, so you finna hold me up.
Furman, I might just have to go on and give me a Coke and a smile, because I got some work sitting here staring at me over there on that other screen. But it's okay. This was worth it.
But you know what? I got some questions for you. And we're going to talk about some personal journey. We're going to close out our segment with personal journey. So, what experience in your life shaped your passion for financial empowerment?
There are a couple of big ones. I've talked about the bankruptcy. Let me tell you about two, and I'm going to tell you about the second one first. Becoming a homeowner on 9909, there was nothing more amazing than that feeling. Okay. The housing market was crashing. President Obama had given that refundable credit. So the money that I had, the little money that I took to the table when I filed my taxes, I got it all back. It was worth it. Then when I sold my home like 17 years later, that home was an investment that I walked away from with 6 figures. Okay. I walked away from the sale of that home with 6 figures. So to be able to tell other women about that. But what started the whole thing was trauma. Trauma. My mother, the household that I grew up in was very dysfunctional. My mother was financially codependent on a man who was abusive to her, to me. And there was no foundation there. There was just survival. Okay. Went to the top high school in the city of Chicago. Shout out to Whitney Young Dolphins, where First Lady Michelle Obama graduated from. What you say? All right. If I see her on the street, I can say, "Hey, Shell, go House." That's a Whitney Young thing out of Chicago. Okay. And, graduated from there. And that summer, I went and stayed with my aunt because my stepdad was abusive, and that the pattern was pack up, go to my grandmother's. And long story short, the day I called my mom, and she said, "Things have been better since you've been gone, and I don't want you to come back home." And it wasn't that I wanted to go, because I didn't. But the fact that my mother, who birthed me, supposed to be the one to protect me, abandoned me. And at 17, my aunt stood me in the mirror and said, "The only person that you can ever truly depend on is the one that's staring back at you." Now imagine being 17 years old, no clue what the world is about to do to you, offer you, take from you, none of that. But I'm the only one I can depend on. And it was not long after that I realized I have to create my own security. I got to be the everything that I need. But I also, I think Miss Jones might be related to me, because she talking about friends in Calumet City. She about 45 minutes from where I am. Miss Jones, we know you reach out to me. I might have to do some investigation. But imagine that feeling, right? But not only would I have to create security for myself, I knew I was going to have to teach others how to create security for themselves. I couldn't be the only one that was experiencing this. And I didn't know other people who were going through that, but I knew that I couldn't be the only one.
Yes, ma'am.
And the wherewithal that he gave me, that the Lord has given me, kept me going. Even when my mother, the man she was with, continued to tell me I wasn't going to ever amount to anything. So coming forward, being that independent person, making sure that even when my kid's father my kids didn't go without. Okay. Being able to buy a home as a single mom when a mortgage lender said you'll never be a homeowner. The joy I got closing on that house, having the keys, walking through it, watching my kids play in the backyard. But the best joy was going back to that same seminar, sitting down across from him and sliding that check, them keys in that garage door. I said, "Now, what did you say about me?" That was the icing on the cake I already had. So as I went into the world, I spent the next 7 years teaching over 200 women how to become first-time homeowners. I did that business for free for 7 years, and 7 marks completion. And when I finally legitimized my business, it just has been continued success after success after success. But it was the successes that I felt that sparked me to be able to give to other women, but it was the trauma that I felt that started the whole journey. She said, "You're not the only one. I appreciate you taking the time, Sister Johnson, to dive into us, pouring into us." I said that way because it seems like some layers have been peeled away. I know our creators, and listen, there are layers and layers and layers of us, right? And sometimes you got to peel back till you get to the best parts. Okay. And you just got to be able to peel them layers back in the right environment with the right people. People who won't turn what you've done and use it against you, make you feel bad. It's no need. It just those things help form who you are. Your circumstances happen to you, they do not define you. Take that. Okay, Furman. I'm be on a soapbox in a minute.
Oh no, you good because I mean, you talking to somebody today, and like I said, I'm like this, Nicole. One plant, one word, God get the increase. So I know seeds are being planted, and you know that at the end of the day, God's gonna reap that harvest. So that's what it's all about. And Mrs. Jones says, what did she go to the comment section? She said, you so much. This is just confirmation.
Amen. Amen. I when I left Birmingham, I tell anybody I escaped.
Birmingham, what? Birmingham, Alabama. I'm
I
from
lived.
Mobile, Alabama.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm really from Mobile. I moved here to DFW in December of 2020.
So I moved to Dallas, and as a matter of fact, my anniversary was this month, March 2nd, 2022. So I've been here
Okay.
literally just 4.5 years, so just
Okay.
four, a little over 4 years. But when I started my federal government job in 2009 in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay.
I finished school there. I was raising my daughter, my son. I bought my first home. I got my graduate degree. I went to law school. I got my master's within 3 months of each other in 2013. I launched my business. I pledged my sorority. I did a ton of things. And then as I began to level out in my personal life, now I'm focused on my career. I work for three Black women. And I think I would rather have had all my teeth pulled out with no Novocaine than to work for these three Black women. When I say hateful, mean, just surly. That's that word. Mean and surly. That's what they said in that movie. And that was them, just miserable people. To the point that when I moved to Dallas, it was an escape. And my supervisor called me and got me in a Teams meeting. She said, I can't believe you moved to Dallas when your transfer was denied. And I told her, I said, I can't believe you denied my transfer when I told you I was moving to Dallas. So I guess we both befuddled. And that sparked so many things. She revoked my telework agreement, did all kinds of hateful things, right? And just when I thought I got to move back to Birmingham to deal with this, the judge who was holding this all together retired. No warning, no advance notice or anything. Got an email on the 31st of March saying, hey, y'all, bye. That's basically what she said. So her replacement was a man. I refiled for my transfer and got approved in 2 days. It was the fastest approved transfer anybody had seen. So when God steps in and shows up and shows out, it is always at a magnitude where I can never, even if I don't, not that I'm trying, I can never give credit to anybody but him.
That's right.
And so that transfer got done. I was officially here in June of 2022. In January 2023, I got my first promotion since I had started with the agency. 8 months later, I got my second promotion. And now I'm in a position where I'm headed to my next one. I've only been in Dallas 4 years. I had been there working for that agency for 13 years. Was not meant for me to do it there. And I had to recognize it. And when certain things started to happen, I had to call my pastor. And she said, Nicole, I want you to read the story of Joseph. Joseph was blessed no matter where he went. But everywhere he went, something went wrong. The favor on your life is going to agitate the gravel of the devil no matter where you go. And you're going to flourish. And she was not wrong. even as I sit in the position that I do today, Nicole, can you take on this? Nicole, can you do this? Can you help with this? Yep, I'm the go to person. When they avoided me like a plague in the beginning, now I'm the go to person. And so just understanding that. But in addition to that, the things that I can do now. So I'm working with women to help them with a situation nobody helped me with. I
Okay.
launched my nonprofit last year. So we are hosting our first annual event this October. As a matter of fact, it's October 31st. I've always
Congratulations.
host costume parties. Thank you. And so
Mhm.
my nonprofit is designed, our second mission is designed to help build a tiny home community for children aging out of the foster care system with no support. That's my goal. So the favor is continuing because the doors are still opening to people saying, "Hey, call this person for help. Here, talk to this organization. Here, call me when you need such and such." She said, "You have been sowing. Now it's time to reap."
That's it. Seed time, harvest time, right? Seed time, harvest time. So that leads up to my next question. What message do you want listeners of the Just Saying podcast to walk away with when it comes to their finances?
The biggest message that I want them to walk away with is your success in your finances moves at the speed of execution. So, how fast do you want your results? And I am here to help whoever wants to do the work to get help. So, I'm going to do something that I normally do not do. I usually leave them with a website or an email. Today, for you and your listeners, I'm going to leave them with my phone number. Send a text, leave a message so that someone can reach out, and I'm the someone. I am the someone. So, you ready? Got your pen? Got your paper? Area code 469-701-0509. That is the number for the Wealthy Women Lifestyle. Call and or text. I need help. And I will find out what we can do here in the community to get you pointed in the right direction, because success moves at the speed of execution, and you want results fast. That means you got to execute quickly.
And that's it.
That's
And
it.
that is so it. And it is gonna this is gonna be our closeout question. And it's gonna say this. If someone watched this episode, wants to start changing their finance future today, what is the first move they should make after this interview?
It's so many things I can say right there. But I want the first one to be acknowledgement that I need help. That's the first thing you got to do. And then reach out. Okay. Acknowledge that you need help and then reach out. Because whether I tell you here's a form you can download, here's a book you can read, here's a community you could be a part of, none of those things matter if you don't, one, acknowledge that you need help, and two, reach out so that you can get help.
Man, that sums it up right there, Nicole. I appreciate you again. And we're about to get ready to close it on now, gentlemen. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to my lovely teammate, Lo. She didn't make it today, but give a shout out to her. I was holding it down because we are a team. Like I tell you all the time, we are a team. And I'm always going to show it no matter what, because this is all about purpose and vision and destiny. And that's how I look at it. So big shout out to Lo as well, where she may be watching us at. Nicole, want to thank you as well for taking time out of your schedule to come on here. I will be back this coming Saturday on my other platform, the Walking His Ways Impact Boys podcast with me and Nancy C out of Miami, Florida. This coming Saturday at 11 a.m. It is our Sabbath edition, of course. So y'all make sure y'all check us out on Walking His Ways Tuesdays and Saturdays. And of course, they got the Just Saying platform below as well, as we live stream every Wednesday at 5 p.m. So we're gonna be back here this coming next Wednesday as well. So y'all make sure y'all check out the Walking His Ways Impact Boys podcast is coming Saturday at 11 a.m. on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. So that's enough in a nutshell. So, Nicole, do you have any final remarks, any words of wisdom, any sound advice we'll leave you with the listening audience? I'm going to let you go because I know you have work to get done, and I'm respectful of your time. And I am giving you your flowers now.
Thank you.
So I'm giving you your flowers now. So go ahead and close us out, and I'll see everyone this coming Saturday here on the Walking His Ways Impact Boys podcast.
Well, Furman, thank you so much. I hope to get to come back and spend time with you and Lo next time. Hey, Lo. Listen, don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to say that you need help, because there's nothing that you've done in your finances that can't be fixed. You just need to understand what the strategy is, and that's why I'm here. That is why I do what I do. When you are trying to figure things out, your circle might not be the place that you need to get that story together. That it might not be the place, because if everybody is on the same level, they're not the ones to guide you to that level of success that you're looking for. So you get to define what your freedom looks like. Don't let somebody else define it for you, and do not worry about what they call you. Just be concerned with what you'll answer to. I look forward to seeing you guys again, helping as many women and men as possible so that they can define their goals of financial freedom, so you can start living life on your own terms.
Man, most definitely. And that's what it's all about. Let the games begin. Also, don't want to forget Mrs. Jones as well in the comment section. Big shout out to her. Don't want to forget her. I always want to acknowledge the people who always take time of their schedule to join us on these platforms. And also, man, y'all be on the lookout for my media company, Nerds Media. That's the name, Nerd Media, of course. So that's the house, the Walking His Ways and the Just Saying. So we taking this thing to the next level, taking this thing to the nations, of course. So, man, y'all have a great Wednesday. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your evening. If you don't have to go out, make sure matter of fact, go to the grocery store and cook you a meal. I ain't gonna lie, going out all the time, it adds up, and that stuff is processed. And we know that this processed food is really, really, really hurting us in the long run, men and women. So
That's it.
so we gotta be mindful with stuff that we eat, because he wants to prosper in our health, And I
That's
gotta give
it.
I gotta give a big shout out to my doctor, Dr. Dunbar, for helping me with my weight loss journey, because I was diagnosed as type 2 diabetic last year. Everything's back into remission now. Main thing is maintaining my health journey. So that's very important to me, because in my destiny. So we want to make sure that we stay healthy and for the well-being. I hear a lot of people, Nicole, always talking about chase the bag. But you chasing this bag and everything else is lacking. You're lacking your relationships. You're lacking your health.
That's
You
it.
lacking your mindset. You lacking everything else. But we gotta make the main thing, and that's seeking first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. And everything will be added unto us. So I'm gonna let you go, Nicole. I thank you, Queen. Give you your flowers, and we will see you next time. So
Yes,
next
you
time
will.
that me and Lo would love to have you next time on here. So we appreciate you again. We timing out, ladies and gentlemen. Man, y'all have a great, great evening. And I'll see y'all this coming Saturday here on the Walking His Ways Impact Boys podcast at 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern. Bye, everybody.
Bye.